Let me tell you something that most people never realize until years have passed. The thing you are running away from today might be the very thing that is trying to transform you into the person you were always meant to become. Think about this for a moment. How many opportunities have you lost because fear whispered louder than your dreams? How many doors did you never open because you were afraid of what was waiting on the other side? How many conversations did you avoid? How many risks did you reject? How many chances did you surrender? Because a small voice inside your mind said, "What if you fail?" And here's the truth. Fear has stopped more people than failure ever has. Failure has never destroyed a person's future. Failure has educated people. Failure has strengthened people. Failure has redirected people. Failure has built some of the greatest success stories the world has ever witnessed. But fear has kept talented people invisible. Fear has kept brilliant ideas trapped inside people's minds. Fear has kept dreamers sitting in the same place for years, watching life pass by while they wait for the perfect moment. And the perfect moment never comes, because the perfect moment is created when you decide to move. Let me tell you something. You are not waiting for confidence before you act. You build confidence by acting. You are not waiting for courage before you face the challenge. You build courage by facing the challenge. You are not waiting for fear to disappear before you begin. You begin, and eventually you learn that fear was never the enemy you thought it was. Fear was information. Fear was energy. Fear was a signal that you were standing at the edge of growth. I learned something years ago. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful had to stand in front of the same giant called fear. The difference between ordinary people and extraordinary people is not that extraordinary people feel no fear. They feel it. They experience the doubt. They hear the uncertainty. They have moments when they question themselves. But they have learned something powerful. Fear can be a prison, or fear can be fuel. The choice is yours. There was once a young man who wanted to change his life. He had dreams bigger than his circumstances. He wanted to become successful. But every time he thought about taking the first step, his mind created 1,000 reasons why he should wait. He told himself, "I need more knowledge. I need more money. I need more time. I need to be ready." But years went by and he was still standing in the same place. One day he looked back and realized something painful. The thing he feared most was failure. But the thing that hurt him the most was regret. Because failure is temporary, regret can stay with you for a lifetime. Failure says you tried and learned. Regret says you never discovered what you were capable of. Think about this. A person who tries and fails is already ahead of the person who never tries. Because the person who tries gains experience. The person who tries gains wisdom. The person who tries becomes stronger. Every mistake becomes a teacher. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every obstacle becomes a training ground. But the person who never moves stays trapped in imagination. They create a fantasy version of life where everything works perfectly, but they never experience the real power of growth. Let me ask you something. What would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? What dream would you chase? What conversation would you have? What skill would you learn? What business would you start? What person
would you become? Now think deeper. Why are you waiting for permission to become that person? Who told you that you have to remain the same?
Who convinced you that your past has more power than your future? Your past is a chapter. It is not the entire book. You may have made mistakes. You may have lost opportunities. You may have experienced rejection. You may have faced moments when you felt like giving up. But every person who rises has a story of struggle behind them. The mountain does not create the climber. The climb creates the climber. The pressure does not destroy the diamond. The pressure reveals the diamond. And sometimes life places pressure on you because there is something inside you that needs to be revealed. Here's what most people don't understand. The goal is not to eliminate fear. The goal is to become bigger than your fear. A child learns to walk by falling. A student learns by making mistakes. An athlete becomes stronger by pushing beyond comfort. A successful person becomes successful by repeatedly doing things that scare them. Growth always lives outside the comfort zone.
Comfort feels good, but comfort does not build greatness. Comfort gives you a place to rest. Discipline gives you a path to rise. You have to understand the psychology of fear. Fear grows when you feed it. Every time you avoid something because you are afraid, fear becomes stronger. Every time you face something difficult, fear becomes weaker. Avoidance teaches your brain this situation is dangerous. Action teaches your brain, I can handle this. This is why small victories matter. You do not conquer fear in one giant moment. You conquer fear through thousands of small decisions. Getting up when you do not feel motivated, making the call you have been avoiding, starting the project you keep postponing, walking into the room even when your confidence is not perfect, showing up when nobody is watching. These small moments create identity. And identity creates destiny. Because your future is not created by one massive decision. Your future is created by the decisions you repeat every single day. The compound effect is one of the most powerful laws of life. Small actions repeated over time create massive results. A person who improves 1% every day becomes a completely different person over time. 1 page of reading, 1 hour of learning, 1 difficult conversation, 1 healthy choice, 1 disciplined action. It does not seem powerful today, but tomorrow's success is built from today's small choices. People look at successful individuals and think they became successful overnight. They see the results, but they do not see the years. They see the confidence, but they do not see the battles. They see the achievement, but they do not see the moments when quitting felt easier. Every successful person has a graveyard of excuses they decided not to follow. They had reasons to stop. They had fears. They had doubts. But they also had a decision that their dreams were bigger than their fears. Let me tell you something. Your fear is not asking you to run. Your fear is asking you a question. Are you serious about becoming who you say you want to become? Because dreams without action are only wishes. A vision without discipline is only imagination. A goal without commitment is only a conversation.
The person you want to become is waiting on the other side of your daily choices. Every morning you wake up, you are voting for a future version of yourself. Your habits are votes. Your discipline is a vote. Your effort is a vote. Your excuses are also votes. And eventually, the person you vote for the most becomes the person you become. So ask yourself, who are you building? Are you building someone who hides from challenges, or are you building someone who faces them? Are you building someone who complains about circumstances, or are you building someone who creates solutions? Are you building someone controlled by emotions, or someone controlled by principles? Because successful people are not successful because life is easier for them. They are successful because they became stronger than the difficulties in front of them. They trained their mind. They mastered their emotions. They developed discipline. They learned that motivation comes and goes, but commitment remains. There will be mornings when you do not feel powerful. There will be days when your confidence disappears. There will be moments when nobody believes in you. And that is when your discipline must speak. Because feelings are temporary, commitment is permanent. You cannot build a great life based only on how you feel. If you only work when you feel motivated, you will only succeed when conditions are perfect. And conditions are rarely perfect. The person who wins is not the person who always feels ready. The person who wins is the person who moves forward anyway. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action despite fear. Think about the greatest moments of your life. Many of them probably happened after a difficult decision. A decision that scared you. A decision that required you to leave something comfortable behind. Because every new level requires a new version of you. You cannot create a different future while protecting the same old habits. You cannot become stronger while constantly choosing comfort. You cannot discover your potential while constantly avoiding challenges. Your potential is hidden behind resistance. The weight you lift strengthens your muscles. The problems you face strengthen your character. The struggles you overcome strengthen your confidence. The storms you survive prepare you for greater opportunities. I want you to remember this. The fear you feel today might be proof that you are closer to growth than you have ever been. The nervousness before starting something new is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are entering unfamiliar territory. And unfamiliar territory is where transformation happens. Most people spend their lives protecting themselves from discomfort. But the greatest achievements require discomfort. The seed must break before the tree grows. The old version of you must break before the new version can rise. Sometimes life has to challenge your confidence so you can build real confidence. Sometimes life has to remove your comfort so you can discover your strength. Sometimes life has to put you in situations where you have no choice but to grow. And when you look back one day, you will realize the moments you wanted to escape were the moments that built you. The challenges you hated were the challenges that changed you. The fear you wanted to avoid was the fuel that pushed you forward. Because inside every fear is a hidden opportunity. Inside every obstacle is a hidden lesson. Inside every struggle is a hidden strength waiting to be discovered. So when fear appears, do not immediately ask, how do I get rid of this? Ask a better question. What is this fear trying to teach me? What action is this fear inviting me to take? What version of myself is waiting on the other side of this challenge? Because the future belongs to those who are willing to walk through the fire of uncertainty. The future belongs to those who understand that comfort is not the goal. Growth is the goal. The mission is not to create a life where nothing challenges you. The mission is to become the person who can handle anything life brings. And that transformation begins the moment you stop seeing fear as an enemy and start seeing it as your greatest source of power. Because once you understand that fear is not there to destroy you, everything begins to change. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, why is this happening for me? That single shift in perspective can change the direction of an entire life. Let me tell you something. Two people can face the exact same situation and walk away with completely different results. One person sees a problem and says, this is impossible. Another person sees the same problem and says, this is my opportunity to grow. The circumstance is the same. The difference is the mind. The difference is the meaning they give to the moment. Because life is not only shaped by what happens to you, life is shaped by how you respond to what happens to you. You cannot control every storm that comes into your life. You cannot control every rejection. You cannot control every disappointment. You cannot control every unexpected change. But you can control the person you become while facing those storms. And that is where your power begins. I want you to understand something deeply. Your fear often comes from the story you tell yourself about the future. You imagine the worst possible outcome. You imagine embarrassment. You imagine losing. You imagine people judging you. You imagine everything going wrong. But what if you started imagining something else? What if you imagined yourself becoming stronger? What if you imagined yourself learning? What if you imagined yourself standing on the other side of that challenge with a new level of confidence? Because your mind is powerful. The same imagination that creates fear can create vision. The same mind that creates doubt can create determination. The same energy that keeps you awake at night worrying can be transformed into the energy that builds your future. You have to learn how to redirect your power. That is what winners do. They do not waste their emotions, they convert them. They take frustration and turn it into focus. They take pain and turn it into purpose. They take rejection and turn it into motivation. They take fear and turn it into fuel. I remember hearing a wise mentor say something years ago that stayed with me. Your emotions are like fire. Fire can burn your house down, or it can cook your food and warm your family. The fire is not the problem. The direction of the fire is the difference. Think about that. Your anger can destroy you, or it can push you to improve. Your disappointment can break you, or it can teach you. Your fear can control you, or it can awaken you. The question is not whether you will experience difficult emotions. Every human being experiences them. The question is whether you will become their servant or their master. Because the person who cannot control their emotions will eventually be controlled by the world
around them. Someone says something negative and they lose their confidence. Someone doubts them and they abandon their dream. Someone criticizes them and they stop moving. But a person who has mastered themselves understands something different. People's opinions are not your identity. Your circumstances are not your destiny. Your past is not your prison. You are always one decision away from beginning a new chapter. Here's what most people don't understand. The strongest people are not built in moments of comfort. They are built in moments when quitting would have been easier. Nobody becomes mentally strong by avoiding challenges. Mental strength is a muscle, and like every muscle, it must be trained. Every time you do something difficult, you are teaching yourself that you can survive discomfort. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you are rebuilding trust with yourself. Every time you choose discipline over temporary pleasure, you are becoming someone different. And that is where real confidence comes from. Not from pretending, not from telling yourself empty words. Real confidence comes from evidence. Evidence that you can rely on yourself. Evidence that you can keep going. Evidence that you can face hard things. Because the relationship you have with yourself is the most important relationship you will ever build. Think about this for a moment. How many people break promises to themselves every day? They say, tomorrow I will start. Tomorrow I will exercise. Tomorrow I will learn. Tomorrow I will change. Tomorrow I will take action. And tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Next month becomes another year. And suddenly they look back and wonder why their life has not changed. But life does not respond to wishes. Life responds to actions. Your future does not listen to what you say. Your future watches what you do. Your habits are your hidden votes. Every morning you choose whether you are becoming stronger or weaker. Every choice is a brick. Every action is a brick. Every repeated behavior is a brick. And slowly, day after day, you build the house you will eventually live in. The question is,